Hello. How's everyone's cookie time? All right, so first up on deck, I'm gonna try to make 3 different kinds of cookies today. We'll see whether or not I actually get them all done. I'll tell you why later. So first on deck is a blueberry muffin thick cookie. Okay, so we got some elements we got to do. We got a blueberry jam that's on the stove right now, and then we got to start putting the elements together for the cookie while the blueberry jam itself cools down. So let me turn you around and I'll show you where we is, because this is super easy peasy. Hang on. All right, in this right here saucepan was 1 cup of frozen blueberries, a 1/2 cup of sugar. I did not add the 2 tablespoons of water because there was enough liquid in here already. Juice of a 1/2 a lemon. So cook those down. I hit it with the immersion blender because this is a jam. We have a cornstarch slurry, equal parts 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, 2 tablespoons of water. Anytime you use a thickener like this, you need to bring it all the way back up to the boil, because that's where your thickness is. And when it boils, that's as thick as it's going to get, and you're done. So we're going to let this boil for just a minute. Okay, there we go. Now, you see how we do that? You see the bottom of the pan? Okay, off she goes. Now, we're going to let this cool off a little bit. Then we're going to put it in a glass container, and we'll stick it in the refrigerator to let that get really, really, really thick. And then we'll move on to the cookie element, and it also has a crumble topping. So this one's going to be special. All right, the next step. This is a prep cookie, y'all. I'm just going to tell you that right now. This calls for 1 cup of browned butter. So there are 2 sticks of butter in here, and we are letting them do their business. Y'all have seen me brown butter before. We're going to let this go until all that little foam is gone, and you basically see the butter start to turn to a pretty little amber color. It gives it a nutty flavor. We're going to take it off the heat. We're going to let it cool down a little bit, and then if we need to, we'll put it in the freezer because it wants it at least room temperature or kind of soft, so we need it to kind of re-solidify a little bit. All right, since this is a streusel cookie, we need to make the streusel, so we're going to go ahead and do that. That is a 1/2 cup of brown sugar, 1/4 cup plus 2 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. It has a pinch of salt, a 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon, and 3 tablespoons of butter. Mixy, mixy, mixy. All right, said butter is brown. You see all those brown bits. Now, I had to scrape that up with a wire whisk because that is the entire point of brown butter, y'all. You need those brown bits, okay? And all that was stuck on the bottom of the pan. See that? That's your flavor. We need to get all that in there. Now, so you can see in that bowl how pretty that is. We're going to go ahead and put some saran wrap on this and stick it in the refrigerator, along with the jam and the streusel mix, because we need those things to stay cold. All right, well, we have a whole bunch of waiting to do, so this is probably going to be the last cookie we do. So come on to the other one, because you'll see it first. We'll do the next one. Okay, so we back. We've already got 1 cookie done and the other ones that are cooking in the oven, and we still ain't made the actual dough for these blueberry ones. I'm fixing to make the cookie part of the dough, and then basically at assembly, we need to put them in the refrigerator for at least 30 minutes. I know. I had to put my chocolate chip cookie dough in another container. I had to dirty another container. It is what it is. The brown butter has solidified, so now we're going to get to cooking the dough. All right. Or no, mixing the dough. That's what we're going to do. All right, see, the butter has solidified. So we're going to put that and the sugars in the bowl, and we're going to mix them up. All right, now it said to beat those up until it was light and pale, which was about 3 minutes. We're going to scrape down the bowl, add in the egg yolk, and the vanilla, and then we're going to do it for about another 3 minutes, and said it should be very, like, thick and glossy and ribbony. All right, it said it should be thick and have a glossy sheen, which it does. Add the dry to the wet until just barely combined, and then we're going to fold in the blueberries. All right, see, you can still see flour on the bowl. These are frozen blueberries. We're going to gently fold them in. All right, so here's my concern with using fresh blueberries, and I thought about this, and I should have stuck with my instincts. It said fresh, partially frozen, either way you want. There's a lot of water and liquid that's going to come out in these, and it's making, I don't know what's going to happen when these bake, but it makes me a little nervous. If I do these again, I probably wouldn't put the blueberries in the actual cookie and just do the blueberry jam. We'll see what happens, but it's already given me a problem. See? Yeah. We'll see. But we're going to put about a tablespoon of my jam, which looks delish, in here. And then we're going to go put them in the freezer for, 20, 30 minutes or until I'm ready to bake. Then we'll top them with the cold streusel topping. These, it says, will bake for, I think it said 12 to 15 minutes at 350. All right, regardless of how these turn out, I'm going to tell you right now, these have pissed me off. I will not do the blueberries in them again. They are messy. They're hard to work with. I should have stuck with my gut. I don't care if they come out and they're fabulous. I'll make the dough again, but I won't put blueberries in them unless maybe they're freeze-dried. The moisture's an issue. We'll see how they bake up. These got to go down in the freezer, and then we'll put the crumble topping on them before we actually bake them, and we'll see how they turn out. So far, there you go. Those are the ones that are going in the freezer. And then when they're frozen, we'll put them in a bag so that they don't stick together, and we'll have cookies for later. I know. All right, those didn't take long. These are completely frozen. The crumble was cold. I basically just put enough on there to cover up the jam. It says to cook these for 15 minutes. We'll start checking them at 9, and we'll see where we're at. All right, babies. We got the end of the blueberry muffin cookie, okay? It's decent sized. I didn't make them ginormous. There's the bottom. They maybe could have done a little bit more. We're going to break it in half and give you the money shot. Okay, well, I mean, they look nice. I'm not sure if I would put the blueberries in. I mean, it worked out, but it sure did piss me off while I was making them. So we're going to go ahead and take a bite. We're not going to eat the whole one because I got 3 cookies I got to try. So we're just going to take a bite. My kitchen to yours. I mean, it delivers. It tastes like exactly what it says it is. That tastes like a delicious blueberry muffin. Now, I'll tell you, these are real deceiving because they still feel almost soft and squishy, but they're not. They are completely done. There is no raw dough in here. I let them go 19 minutes in 350 degrees, my oven, because yours may be different. I'm telling you, at 15, you need to start watching. But I think we ended up doing 19 minutes was the magic number because it just felt still a little too soft. And when I pulled them out, I was like, I don't know. They set up really good. They are a really good cookie. I'm not mad at the end product, but I'll be honest with you, I was questioning them the whole time. These were a really good cookie. Would I do them again? Absolutely. I may or may not leave the blueberries out. Maybe I would dry them out a little bit. I don't know. We'll see. But this is a good recipe, so it is Pinterest. Indeed. If you want the recipe, you know what to do. Comment down below. And we'll see what we can do. Come on back. We got 2 more cookies to try. Love you. Bye.